I loved going on the Coldwater women's trip. It was so hard and so good at the same time. I already am a leader, and so it's an interesting paradox to take yourself on a trip like this where I was not in charge. And I think that's actually one of the biggest formational aspects of the trip for me, that I could go, and I remember even just praying before the trip started, God, what do you want me to get out of this? And he really impressed upon me, learn how to be a good follower. And it was hard because I'm a very detail-oriented person. I love to plan ahead, and I love to know what's going on. And if you've ever been on a Coldwater trip, you know that you don't get a lot of details. Where are we? I don't know. Where are we going next? We'll find out tomorrow morning. And that was very stretching at first because they told us, we really encourage you to leave your watches and your phones at the base camp. We're not going to be talking about what time it is at any time of the day. We're just going to get up and do our things and go as the sun rises and sets. And yeah, they didn't give us a map or an itinerary. We just followed them. And at first, it was painful. I wanted to know what time it was. I wanted to know what was happening next. And I even tried to get Jess to tell me a couple of times. But it was actually so life-giving as I was able to surrender to that process. Jess and Michelle were so good at looking out for us and looking after us. And they told us, we want you to feel loved and cared for on this trip, and we really did. And I think because of that, because we were able to surrender to that, and we were able to totally break away from our routines, from knowing, I have to get to the next thing, like that feeling of always being rushed or busy. We were able to break away from those aspects of our regular lives, and because of that, we were able to be stretched further than I think any of us were expecting to be stretched. And so that's, to me, such a beautiful thing about these trips, that you're just brought out to this remote place. And because of it, you can open yourself up in a different way, in a new way. Also, I want to say, women are amazing. Yeah, give it a clap. As a woman in ministry, I do already think about girl power, but yeah, I love the whole body of Christ. I love women and men, but it was very cool to see these women just being fierce, as Jess has said, being out there with this grit, carrying a canoe alone on their shoulders, carrying these, I don't know how heavy they are. I feel like they were 70-pound packs. That I might be exaggerating, but they're heavy. Carrying them on these portages, throwing the canoes in the water and getting out there and paddling again, going 50 kilometers in a canoe in 4 days. I think I was renewed in my just respect and my admiration for how strong women are. And I would really recommend, if you are a woman in this room, to come on the trip and see that, because I know even though I'm someone who I've been given a lot of opportunities that in previous generations men wouldn't normally have, especially being a pastor. That's not something women have always done throughout history. But I still was caught by some kind of thoughts in my mind that, if you want to go out into the wilderness, you can only do that if guys are along, because we need their strength and just some of the skills. I don't know. I think that's true. It's great to go on co-ed trips, but I think there was something very powerful about seeing women just bind together and work together, and when one woman was feeling weak, watching another one pick up the slack, and finding our roles within the group of women, and just watching these women persevere. I have so many images in my mind of Jana and Bethany carrying canoes, just they were so tired, and I remember just hearing Bethany go, okay, ugh, and then she just carried it. And for me, that was really freeing because I've gone on trips before, but it's always been with men. And sometimes I even didn't think to ask, hey, can I learn how to navigate? And that's something that I was able to learn on this trip. Can I learn how to stern a canoe? And again, that was something I had never learned, even though I've been canoeing for decades. And so I am really thankful for the way it was eye-opening in that sense, just being able to do that. And also, I'm just thankful for the way that the trips kind of strip you down. You can't really have any pretenses when you're going to the washroom in the woods. And I think that also was so beautiful because I am really proud of the way that the women opened themselves up to sharing just really deep things that were in our lives. And I saw a lot of healing being started by God in some of these conversations and some of the times that we were able to have in devotions in the mornings. And again, I think that's just because we were able to completely leave the lives, the routines that we normally go through, and just we had this beautiful stretching time where we could be more open to hear from God. So I'm so thankful, and I really recommend that if you haven't been on a trip, you should go on one. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how I can get other people involved in going on trips, and hopefully some of our youth and young adults as well. So yeah, thank you so much.